Bryan, your lunatic friend. You know that story about a thorn in the flesh Apostle Paul was talking about having, and then never tells you what it was? He just calls it a messenger from Satan, and apparently Jesus knew about it and didn't fix it for him. He just tells Paul, my grace is sufficient for you. I have to imagine that the Apostle Paul was a get-her-done kind of guy. Probably didn't put a lot of stock in the grace of God for himself, especially for things he had an ongoing problem with. I was given a thorn in the flesh, he says. And my first thought was, wow, you've only got one? I feel like Brer Rabbit in the briar patch. Paul calls his problem a messenger from Satan to keep him from being conceited. That doesn't sound like something the devil would do. Pride is one of the devil's favorite things to trip me up with. What's interesting is that Paul had a problem that he only told God about, and he even had a pet name for it. Sounds to me like God still uses the devil to do the dirty work. So maybe right now the devil doesn't even know that he is the sheepdog of the shepherd. It's because of the devil that I keep running back to God. So maybe that's why he lets us keep some of our afflictions. There's also a place in the Old Testament where God allowed Lucifer to afflict Job, and he let him do it because he was proud of his servant. So from the outside looking in, I can't tell if I'm being punished for my sins because I haven't overcome everything, or maybe he's got a wager going with the devil because he's proud of me. So if he allowed that for key people in the Bible, why on earth would I think I'm going to get off scot-free? Paul refers to the thorn as being in the flesh, and he specifies in Galatians that in the flesh is where desires and passions lie. Interesting wording there, because I think that some passions lie. They promise an outcome that's not going to end well, and like he says, it's in the flesh where your passions and desires are. And I don't even have to quote Paul when he says, I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is in my flesh, because I'm highly aware of the weaknesses that I have. And the only good thing about it is it keeps me from being self-righteous. I can't always feel the difference between discipline and punishment, but I know that something has got to keep me from letting the thorn in my flesh fester. And there's your nutshell sermon right there. Maybe the Bible doesn't identify Paul's thorn because God wants us to look at our own. Because when it comes to desires, there's plenty to choose from. Yeah, there's only 7 deadly sins, but they come in an assortment of flavors. Just like the people that listen to this nutshell sermon. And thanks for supporting who you believe in, and I hope I'm one of them.